Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we are watching one of the Fischer's greatest chess games of his chess career, and this game was played in 1956 at 3rd Rosenwald Cup. Robert Fischer was playing against Donald Byrne. He was playing as black, and in this game he sacrificed a queen in the most stunning way, and the game ended in the beautiful mating net by Bobby Fischer, and in the end he checkmated his opponent in such a brilliant way it will really blow your mind. So truly wonderful game is on our hands, one of the chess classics, and I hope you will enjoy it. So Donald Byrne opened the game with knight to f3. Fischer responds with knight to f6. Looks like it will be some red invitation. We have c4 and g6 for Bobby Fischer. Bobby Fischer back in those days were playing King's Indian defense, so probably he was expecting some sort of that the game will transpire in this sort of way. We have knight to c3, bishop to g7, and we have d4. White now captures the center. Black castles and waits for white's move. White in this game decided to play with bishop to f4, although e4 is completely valid choice and it is King's Indian defense, of course. In this variation, black can go for d6, and after bishop to e2, black usually goes for e5. Now this is a small trick here. After d takes on e5, d takes on e5. For example, if you take this, and after rook to d8, this pawn is not free, although it looks free. Of course, this is the old King's Indian defense tactic. After knight takes on e4, now the best is to take this knight, and after bishop takes on e4, the material is equal, but black solved most of his problems. The center is now open, this bishop is really strong, and black is doing just fine. So this is not a free pawn, of course. We are going back to our game where bishop f4 was played. We have a d5 for black, and we have a queen b3 played for Donald Byrne. Slight inaccuracy. The best here after d5 was to go either e3 or a rook to c1, but queen to b3 is played, reminding us of some Catalan ideas where the queen goes early on and then she picks up the pawn, which happened in the game. Fischer uses this because this square will no longer be available for this bishop, and we have a c6 on the board, simply trying to stop any kind of knight to b5 or knight to d5 ideas. Game continues with e4 for Donald Byrne. A really nice move, normal move, capturing the center and taking away squares from your opponent. We have knight b to d7. Now there is no longer d6 pawn, and there is not much you can do but develop your pieces. We have rook to d1, trying to create some pin on this d file. Knight to b6, attacking this queen. And now what should be played in the game was queen to b3. But Donald Byrne played queen to c5, which now allowed first bishop to g4. It looks like a normal developing move, and now in this position white played a bishop to g5. After bishop to g4, best was bishop to e2, but bishop to g5 looks like a regular move, but this actually is not. It's a mistake, which allows Fischer a nice tactic with knight to a4. Now this queen is attacked, and this knight is attacked, of course, and looks like this knight can be taken for free. In the game, queen a3 was played, which is the best game for which is the best move for white, which Donald Byrne actually played. But let's say after knight to a4, you decide to pick up this knight with knight takes on a4. Now you are 3 points in advantage because you simply got a piece. Black would continue with knight picking up on e4, and now there is many options to go. One of the options is to, of course, take this pawn, and another option is to move your queen. But what to do? Let's say you pick up this bishop on e7. Now you have a double attack and you attack the queen. Then in this position, simply knight picking up on c5, black would pick up your queen. You would, of course, be forced to pick up their queen. And now instead of taking this bishop first, a rook to e8 check, bishop to e2, and you play knight picking up on a4. For now material is equal, but this bishop will be forced to retreat somewhere, let's say or g5 or anywhere else. Then this pawn will fall, and this will be a completely lost endgame for white, simply because this bishop will be very weak. You cannot castle, this pawn will be very weak, and black will simply have strong initiative, open bishops, and this pawn will become a target very soon as well. So after knight takes on e4, in case you decide to go, let's say, queen to c1, you play peacefully. How would black continue this way? Well, then bishop takes on f3 first. After g takes on f3, you do not take this bishop because it is defended here and you will simply lose. No, you play queen to a5 check, and now whatever white does, and there is not much he can do. Knight to c3 is not good. If knight to c3, knight picking up on g5. If king to e2 or any other move, the same goes. Knight picks up on g5. White is a pawn up by material, but this position is completely lost positionally wise. King lost the right to castle. This knight is hanging. This pawn is a weak pawn, and this is a completely lost endgame. So after queen to a3, which was the best move by Donald Byrne, we have knight picking up on c3, and after b takes on c3, now knight picks up on e4. So Bobby Fischer just got a pawn advantage in this position. Game continued with bishop picking up on e7, and now you might thinking, well, this is a sacrifice, or this is a mistake by Bobby Fischer, because now this is a double attack. Queen is hanging and rook is hanging, but in this position Bobby Fischer completely ignores this threat, and he plays queen to b6, allowing white to take this rook. In the game, bishop c4 was played, which was actually the best option for Donald Byrne, but let's say after queen to b6 you decide to take this rook. Bishop takes on f8. Yeah, it looks like you have a big advantage now. Of course, you have you are now only an exchange down, Bobby Fischer, and now after the queen is attacked, the best is to offer this queen trade. Now we play knight picking up on c3. Of course, queen picking up on c3 is not a possibility because bishop b4 and your queen is gone. So let's say now you pick up this queen, a takes on b6, you still have pawn advantage, but now after rook to a1, which is not defending this, but at least gives you option to trade rooks and go for some endgame. First we go bishop takes on f3, and after g takes on f3 we play bishop to g7, now targeting this pawn, and this pawn will fall, this pawn will fall as well, and this will be a completely lost endgame for white. That is the reason why after queen to b6 this sacrifice wasn't accepted, and we have bishop to c4 played by white. White wants to develop his pieces and go to castle as soon as possible. We have knight picking up on c3, now of course again offering this trade. In this position, what happened in the game was bishop to c5, but let's say after knight to c3, what would happen if a bishop picking up on if queen picks up on c3, then a rook a to e8 would be played, simply pinning this bishop. There is no way to defend. The best way to continue would be to castle, and now after rook takes on e7, Bobby Fischer is left with a pawn up and with a much better endgame prospects. This knight is pinned, this pawn is weak, and this is a completely lost endgame again for white. So that is why after knight to c3 this knight wasn't picked up, but bishop to c5 was played by Donald Byrne, attacking Fischer's queen. Fischer for now doesn't take this, or doesn't remove his queen, but firstly he gives rook f to e check to save his rook. And now after king to f1 comes the move of the century. Fischer plays bishop to e6, giving up his queen and also offering and also trying to take this white square bishop. In the game, bishop takes on b6 was played. So Donald Byrne attacked this, decided to take this queen. But after bishop to e6, what else is there? If you decide to take bishop takes on e6, then we have queen to b5 check, and this is what now what comes is actually a forced checkmate sequence. Let's say now bishop to c4, queen takes on c4 check, king to g1, knight e2 check, king to f1, knight to g3 check, king to g1, queen to f1 check. The only move is to pick up with your rook, and now brilliant knight e2 checkmate. So this was all in Fischer's mind when he had this sacrifice. This is what happens if bishop takes on e6. After bishop takes on e6, the best way to continue the game was queen picking up on c3, but now after queen takes on c5 you cannot take this queen because your queen is also falling. D takes on c5, this is the best continuation by computer. Bishop takes on e6, rook takes on e6, and yes, Fischer only has a pawn up, judging by only pure material advantage, but the positional advantage is superior here in black's favor, and there is nothing white can do here. This is simply a lost endgame. King lost right to castle. This is a weak pawn which will fall in a few turns. This is also a weak pawn. Black can double up his rooks and really cause a lot of pain in white's position. So that is why after bishop to e6, bishop takes on b6 was played. Donald Byrne decided to take this sacrifice. Game continued with bishop picking up on c4 and a check. Now king g1 is the only move. Game continued with knight to e2 check, as windmill tactic here. You probably heard about it. King to f1 is the only move. Now knight takes on d4 check. King goes on g1, knight to e2, another check with a windmill idea. King to f1. Now we have knight to c3 check, another discover check. You have to retreat your king to g1, and now firstly we have a takes on b6. Fischer takes this bishop, and for now Donald Byrne only has one pawn of advantage. This queen is hanging now, and you have to find a way to retreat it. Queen to b4, the most active move, threatening to take this bishop. This knight is protected by this bishop. Now Fischer doesn't rush. He plays rook to a4, attacking the queen and also defending this bishop with the x-ray. Queen takes on b6. Donald Byrne tries to take as much as he can. Game continued with knight picking up on d1, and now Fischer already has 3 pawns of advantage in this position. We have h3 on the board, trying to move his king and bring his rooks into the game. A rook picks up on a2, why not? This is a free pawn. We have king to h2, now trying to attack this knight. We have knight picking up on f2. Yes, white is giving a lot of pawns, but simply there is nothing you can do. You must bring your pieces or you will be simply toast. We have rook to e1 offering a trade. Fischer gladly accepts this. Firstly, before taking, we have queen to d8, bishop to f8, and now knight picks up on e1, a desperate position for white. We have bishop to d5, now eyeing on this pawn. In case this knight moves, then moving this knight will cause a lot of destruction here on this g file and this g2 square. We have knight to f3, but you have to bring up your pieces. There is nothing else you can do. Knight goes on e4, Fischer brings his knight into the game. Queen to b8, now trying to defend somehow, but this is not easy at all because simply there are no moves for you left. b5, black is now getting ready to start and promoting his pawns, because every piece is doing as much as he can. The next move could be king to g7, simply bringing even this bishop into the game, not allowing this bishop to be pinned. Can continue with h4. Fischer stops any sort of advancement here. We have knight to e5, trying to maybe create some threats, but this is simply defended with king to g7, and now this bishop will be opened. We have king to g1, bishop to c5 check for Bobby Fischer, and now king to f1 was played, which is a mistake, but this after bishop to c5 the game is pretty much done. King to h2 was best, but this brings your king to another square, and now which allows black to play bishop to d6. Let's say king to h2, now bishop to d6 is simply played, and this will fall, and you will lose a game very soon. Checkmate will fall, but unfortunately Donald Byrne couldn't avoid checkmate after bishop to c5. He played king to f1, and now there is a checkmate sequence. If you want, you can find it. If you like calculating, let's see, there is a mate in 5, how you can find the fastest way to checkmate white's king. Fischer found it with knight to g3 check. There is no way for this king to go back, so king has to go on e1. This second rank is protected by this rook. Bishop to b4 check. King goes on d1. Bishop to b3 check. Slowly cutting away squares from this king. King to c1, knight to e2 check. King has to go on b1. We have knight to c3 check. And now the only square is king to c1, and now there is a few ways to checkmate. You can checkmate with bishop to a3, but in this game Fischer decided to checkmate with a rook to c2. I forgot the name of this mate. Is it an Arabian mate or is it a hook mate? I believe this is a hook mate or corner mate. I don't know, but it's anyways really pretty. And this is how this brilliant game ended, and I really hope you enjoyed it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. One of the Fischer's best games. Some people, not some, but most people consider it one of the best games of his career, and not because of this checkmate, but simply because of his sacrifices in the game. From the middle game, finding this knight to a4 move, then sacrificing his queen. Simply brilliant in all sorts of details. I really hope you enjoyed it, guys. If you did, please make sure to leave a comment, like, and share this video with other people who enjoy chess. And of course, if you wish, I will be uploading videos regularly now. I had a longer break. I wouldn't go into the details why I did that, but now I will be back. I will post puzzles on my chess. I will post puzzles on my account, and you will be able to see them as a YouTube post. So you'll be able to solve puzzles. This will not be easy, but you will enjoy them anyways. Thank you so much for watching. We will see each other in the next video. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.